Camp TV thanks you for watching this presentation. We'd love for you to become a member and use your creativity at our station. Please visit hinghammedia.org or call us at 781-836-5094 if you'd like to learn more.
Begin. So I want to thank everybody for coming here today. I know taking time out of folks' schedules is very tough. A little bit about myself, and then I'll go on to tell you what the seminar is going to be about, and take some questions of what you really want to get out of this session. Okay? So I've been into nutrition probably the last 16 years. I do juicing. I also do smoothies, and primarily I do the smoothies because of the whole plant, and fruits and vegetables. And so the reason why I came to design a program like this is because as I was trying to get nutrition from my foods, I was realizing that there's nothing out there to really teach someone how to eat. We all want to eat healthy, and we do. We eat salads, we nutritional fruits and vegetables, but we don't know the quantities to get certain fruits, certain vitamins, and certain minerals, so to speak. So this class is class 101, and what I'm going to teach you here is actually in a program that I made for children in 4th grade. I have a little book here with characters. It's a basic question and answer type of format. And so as simple as this is, the questions that I ask here, and I ask doctors or engineers, is not as simple as we think. So for example, if I ask you, what food can you eat at one serving to get 100% vitamin A, what would that be? Some of you might know it, right? Does anybody know what an answer what that might be? Did you say carrots?
Or sweet potato.
You're good, but do you know the quantity?
A lot.
All right, so that one of the answers out of the three, you can have 1 7-inch carrot, you can have 2/3 cup of sweet potato, or you can have 1 cup of kale. So the reason why I approach nutrition that way is because the foods that you eat, we celebrate food. We go places. We have friends and family. So it's very hard to stick to a certain diet, if you will, right? But if we teach you foods that you can get the nutritional value at, you can add the foods as a side dish or maybe part of the food that you like. So for example, if you eat a cup of salad, right, a lettuce, and yeah, I eat salads, I'm healthy, but did you know to get the vitamin A out of lettuce, you have to eat 10 cups of lettuce as opposed to 1 cup of baby kale? So that might trigger you to maybe change to add that, okay, as part of your salad now. So with this program, like I said, it's one of 4 different classes, and this one I love talking about because it really sets the paradigm. So today we'll talk about this, and then at the end you'll receive your goodie bags. And JP picked them out, very helpful for Whole Food support. I used to do this all on my own, and I realized all my stuff I'm using Whole Foods. I gotta talk to them. So they've helped me out to set this up, and I'm really excited. So before we begin, I want to make sure I get what you want out of this nutritional course. So I have a nice little board here, and I'm gonna write down what you guys tell me you want to get out of it. And if it's the same thing, you can just say, go on. So if you don't mind, if I can start from this end up here, what would you like to get out of this this nutritional seminar? What brought you here today?
Like you said, there's not a lot of information available on nutrition and what you should eat. So I just like some simple answers that I can easily use when I'm making my own diet.
Great. So how to gain better nutrition, right? better nutrition. This is really for me, so I don't miss anything. Okay, how about you?
I was in an altercation, and when I got injured, I was put on a lot of medications. And those medications, I ended up losing my gallbladder.
Okay.
And in doing so, I don't receive the nutritional values or the removal of fat. So I'm looking to be able to remove not only the fat from my body, but put more better nutrients in my system.
Without the high fat
Without the
content.
high fat.
Got it. Okay.
You get rid of the medication that I'm on, so I don't have to leave it.
Okay. All right. How about yourself?
So I'm looking for better bang for the buck in vegetables and fruits because they're so expensive, and I don't want to throw anything away.
Right. So we could eat healthy. I could spend a fortune at Whole Foods. Like I could spend $400 and still have some room, right? So right, we want to target the foods that are high in nutrition, so at least we know we get the nutritional value, and then splurge on the rest, right? So, best bang for the buck. Okay. All right, and how about you?
Basically, same as what everyone else said. I want to be able to understand what I eat, so I get a proper diet. And I live a very busy lifestyle, so if I can eat a smaller amount of food and get better nutrition, all the better.
Fast food, right? Fast foods,
That's healthy.
right? Healthy. Sure. Okay. And how about yourself?
I want to add to it fast, simple, healthy. I want to eat the right food and the right amount. So I don't
So simplicity and quantity, right? Simplicity and quantity. T-I-T-Y. Okay. All right. And how about yourself?
I think I do a pretty good job, but I'm always afraid I'm missing something. Like, am I eating the same thing every day, so I'm not getting
What else is out there to eat, right? Who's the crazy one who tried it already, and I can ask them? That's me. Bless you. All right. So what else? Bless you. So what else can we eat? That's nutritious, right? Okay. And how about you?
Basically, mostly everything.
Everything's here?
Eat healthier and
Okay.
get most nutrients out of something that I do eat.
Okay. Got it. So that's kind of here already. All right. And how about yourself?
So I have a lot of friends that clean, and it sounds interesting. It sounds easy to do, but I
Yeah.
don't really do it 100% of the time.
Okay.
I do it 50%.
Mm-hmm.
And then go back to the protein. So how to balance that?
How to balance eating clean with what you want to eat, right? Okay. Gotcha. So balance eating T-I-N-G clean. All right. So I'm going to put this right here so I can see it and make sure that you folks get everything out of this. Okay. All right. Okay, so you all have a pamphlet in front of you right here, and it goes over top 10 foods. And there are other foods too, but these were very nice, provided by Dr. Axe here. I like to give him credit because he put the list together. But it's the best way to teach you some of the foods that we have today, okay? And so if we take a look at the first page there, top 10 antioxidant foods, okay? Now, do any of you know what that word is, or what does that mean, antioxidants? And I'll make it very simple so you guys can understand it. So, antioxidants, what they do is they help protect your cells, okay? Primarily, let's say visually your skin, right? So, as we age, there's free radicals that, make us look older. But if we have foods with antioxidants, it helps preserve us to, keep that same look. Okay, so if we look at this, the top 10 oxidant foods, we have goji berries up there. Goji berries are a superfood, and what that means, you can practically live off them if you just ate goji berries, all right? So they have a lot of high mineral content, they have good source of protein. So that's what I like to use in my smoothies. Sometimes you can use them as, put them in soups. Kind of a sweet raisin, if you will, okay? Dark chocolate, I don't think anybody has a problem with dark chocolate being on there, right? The only thing I would say is when you look at the dark chocolate, right? The other ingredients that go along with it, if it has high fructose in it, things like that. I'm okay with small amounts of sugar, but when you have other stuff thrown in there that are unnatural, then I have a problem. But dark chocolate is great. And then 3, if you like pecans, and then with 4 we have blueberries. So blueberries are going to go in here into the smoothie too. Okay, blueberries. When you have colorful fruits and vegetables like blueberries or carrots or beets, they're high in antioxidants. Okay. All right, here. Is there anything on this list that that you haven't tried yet? Maybe. What is it? Ah, right. And I don't see that around. You're right. Okay. All right. So let's move on to any questions about the antioxidants at all? Yes.
What about green tea? I drink a lot of green tea. I'm 40 years old. I look pretty young, right? I'm not 40 years.
That was a joke we did because he belongs to my rock climbing gym. So I was telling everybody I'm 44 years old. And he goes, I'm 47. And I actually had to think a little bit, and I realized he was playing a joke on me. So we were challenging each other trying to climb up this particular rock climbing farm. So
He's your plant tonight.
he got me pretty good, yeah. Right. Okay, so now let's move over to potassium foods. Anybody familiar with potassium and what it does for us? You can generalize, it doesn't have to be exact. What's that?
Potassium and iron in your body.
Yeah, so potassium is a mineral that you need, okay, and especially if you're athletic, it's for your muscles. And we need to get about 4,700 milligrams of potassium. And I bring that number out specifically because when I was actually going through being, eating very nutrition, I wasn't really monitoring anything. I thought I was, doing very well. And when I started to monitor how much potassium I actually got, I was actually only getting half of the potassium. So that's why producing this list will help me target, and not this class, but there is a way you can actually monitor the foods that you eat and how much vitamins and minerals you get, All right, so on the list we have avocados, okay? We have, and sometimes what's going to happen, you're going to notice that some of these foods will pop up several times, okay, to get it. We have sweet potatoes. Do any of you eat sweet potatoes here? Okay. Now, I know the word potato is in regular potatoes and sweet potato, but sweet potatoes have a different glycemic index, meaning that if you ate the white potato and a sweet potato, your spike, your sugar will go up more with the white potato, okay? And then you actually have high vitamin A with sweet potato. So they're very different, even though they both come to the ground, very different type of root product. So then we have acorn squash here and spinach, okay, with potassium. Good stuff. All right, let's turn to the next page. For potassium today, I'm going to actually use bananas, just so you folks know, okay? All right, iodine. Do you folks ever hear of iodine and know what it does? Yeah, fish has iodine in it, right? Mm-hmm. Iodine has something to do with your, if you're trying to control your weight, if you don't have iodine, it's going to throw your hormones off, okay? And so it helps one of the organs, the thyroid, to help balance that, okay? And the best way I know to get iodine is through sea vegetables, and this product here, it's a great product they have called Dulse Flakes, right? So it's kind of like a sea vegetable that's already ground up. So you can measure it. And so you don't need a lot, you just need like a half a teaspoon or a teaspoon to get iodine. Now I know there's table salt out there that says there's iodine in it, but it's not sea salt. So that's like, you don't want to put that in your body, all right? It would be great if sea salt, they added iodine to sea salt. But the best source that I know of is going to be from, in the smallest amounts, is going to be these Deuce flakes. So as you can see on the top list here, we have dried seaweed, right? This tastes great actually in soups. You have a nice warm soup and you just throw a little teaspoon, let it just, turn into its soft little vegetables. Yeah, steep, right? It's great. And it's so little in the smoothies you don't even taste it, okay? Let's see what else we have. We have yogurt. It's got some iodine in there, right? And a whole bunch of, we have tuna, navy beans, cranberries. Yeah, I didn't know cranberries had iodine until I, started really looking into it. That's pretty.
Yogurt to have that in it?
You know what? It's if I say yogurt, and I only say yogurt because yogurts are processed differently, right? Some of them add fruits, and some of them add different fillers to it. So they're going to vary in the amount of iodine content, But that's a good question. Okay, selenium. So that's a mineral that we need for our that help if you're exercising with your muscles and your heart. If you're low on selenium, it's going to be it's one of those things. Like, for example, I have a lot of friends who are runners, for example, right? And they don't monitor the selenium or the potassium. They're not eating foods, for example, with that. They may be thin and everything, but they're going to have issues, okay? And it has to do with muscular issues, especially the heart. So we have to make sure we maintain knowing that we're eating foods with selenium and potassium, okay? So as we look here, Brazil nuts, yellowfin tuna, halibut. So it looks like mostly fish. I like to eat sardines for selenium personally. I like to eat them out of the can. And usually I eat them when they're in olive oil. So I get omega-3 fatty acids also. And we'll talk more about omega-3 fatty acids. Okay? Let's turn to the next page. All right, so top 10 foods for vitamin A. As you can see, there's the carrot up there, right? We have sweet potatoes. Good job there answering those two, right? There's beef liver, but actually, I'm going to skip down to number 4 for kale. Kale is what we're going to put in, our smoothie here. Of course, spinach is showing up again. Vitamin A, just so you know, when we talk about vitamin A and we talk about vitamin A in foods, it's actually in the form of beta carotene, all right? And what's important about that is that your body changes beta carotene into vitamin A when it needs it, okay? Now, when you take vitamin A supplements, you could actually overdose on vitamin A, but the preference is to get vitamin A from the foods is beta carotene, okay? All right, let's go to vitamin B12. Do you folks know your levels of vitamin B12? So that's a vitamin that helps you, if you're really physical activity and want to gain energy. I focus on B12, but B vitamins in general are complex. And if you kind of eat some of the foods that contain the B12 in it, you get a good array of the other complex vitamins of B12, okay? So one of the things, they have beef liver, but I don't know all the people who eat beef liver, but sardines, sardines are a very good source of vitamin B12. Oh, and nutritional yeast isn't even on here. So this isn't on here, but this is nutritional yeast. Has anybody heard of this before? So this tastes like, I kind of treat it like a cheese or a salt, but it has its own flavor. And all you need is actually 1 tablespoon of this. But with 1 tablespoon, so thiamine, you get 670%, for example. B12, you get 130%. Niacin. So this product you can use in soups or smoothie. It's a dry good, you can carry it around, so it won't spoil. So one of my favorites there. Let's see what else we have here. Fish and eggs, B12. All right, great. All right, any other questions up to this point? Okay. What's that? Okay. Yeah.
I don't see anything here either.
You know, that's a great question. I actually, so I'm finished with this. I just actually finished this portion of it 2 days ago. And we do have a vegan, similar seminar coming up that addresses this. So it is coming up. I totally understand, but it's totally different slides and everything to derive from. But that is coming up.
Does it make a difference if it's like grass-fed product or organic? Does it change any of these numbers?
All right, so when we think about food labels, right? If we want to get into food labels, so the government has taken these food, like for example, the nutrition of apples or carrots, right? But they've done these a long time ago. The reality why we need to do smoothies or juicing is because if we look at the soils that we've farmed over the last 50 years, right? We don't manage our soils by putting iron back into it, right? We put 3 chemicals, for fertilizing to make them look good. So the labels, I feel, should be done all over again, because I think our foods are less nutritious than they were. So for me, when I grow my own foods, I actually take just the leaves, you rake up, and I have a trench that I put on the side, because your leaves, they end up with fences, right? So I have a trench there, so I dig up every year, and I layer soil on top of leaf, on top of soil, like a cake almost, right? And so what happens, the natural bacteria and the earthworms will, in literally like 2 weeks, break it down to really good soil. So by the time spring comes, you have the most amazing compost. It doesn't smell, it's amazing. So, some people make the compost pile, but it sits there forever, okay? But if you let the bacteria break it down, the natural bacteria in the soil, and the earthworms, I call it chocolate cake. It's the most, and you get the best vegetables and very healthy nutrients. And it's free nutrition from, leaves, So but that's a really great question. Yeah. Okay, let's see. So vitamin C foods. And there's one not on vitamin C you might want to take a note. So we have guava there. How many of you red peppers had a great source of vitamin C? Actually, one bell pepper has more vitamin C than an orange. You believe that? When I make juice on the weekends, I like to have kale, and I stuff the peppers with kale, and then I juice it that way to get more kale juice out of it. So, kiwi. So kiwis, if you eat 2 kiwis, you can get 100% vitamin C. Best way to cut a kiwi is cut the 2 ends off of the kiwi and then stick a spoon and just turn it both sides, and you get good it's very fast to cut a kiwi that way. But kiwis are, I think, one of my favorite fruits because I've had them last up to 3 weeks, and they don't even get really really mushy, right? And they're very high in vitamin C, so I do like kiwis a lot. All right, vitamin D. How do we get our vitamin D? Well, the sun has kind of been vilified a little bit, right? But if you get a certain amount of sun, you should be okay, right? So the average person, if you get the sun between, it's the springtime and fall, that's sun's closest to us, right? It's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. If you get about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, your cholesterol in your skin, when the sun rays hit it, turn into vitamin D, okay? So that is the best source of vitamin D you can get. Now, if you burn easy, you might get a little bit less, but for the most part, you should be okay. And for the folks who are out there for hours at a time, way too much sun, that way. We have vitamin D in salmon, mackerel is a fish. Sardines are showing up again there too. We got some in eggs. Cod liver oil. Okay. Let's turn the page. So magnesium. Magnesium is a food that you need also, and magnesium and calcium kind of work with each other. So, we talk about and we promote a lot of calcium foods, right? But whenever your calcium is off, it's way high than your magnesium, they need to actually be in balance with each other. Okay, so that's why I put magnesium as a food to talk about, a mineral. Spinach, very good in a good source of magnesium. Does anybody eat Swiss chard by any chance here? How do you prepare that now, if you don't mind me asking?
I like to slice it into ribbons.
Yeah.
Take the rib out, slice it into ribbons, and then I sometimes just do a real quick stir fry.
A stir fry with it, okay.
Sometimes with some ginger, onion, whatever, but it's a really good stuffing
Yeah.
for ravioli.
Ravioli stuffing, I like it. That sounds good already.
It's really good.
Okay, thanks for sharing, appreciate it. Pumpkin seeds are good in magnesium. All right. Okay, let's move over to vitamin E. Vitamin E is really good for your skin. It's an antioxidant. Almonds, good source of vitamin E. Spinach. Swiss chard is showing up there again. And so throughout the day, you might pick, 1 to 7 of these type of foods and mix them up throughout the day, right? And that way you can get your 100% vitamin E.
There's a lot of iron in chard.
Iron. Oh, fantastic. Good. Swiss chard is one of my favorites. I use it in juicing, and I use it in juicing and stir fry. So both areas. All right, so here we go. So calcium foods, right? Calcium's good for our bones and our teeth. On here, he likes to put raw milk there, right? Yogurt's there. Kale, isn't it amazing? Kale actually has a good source of calcium. Cheese and sardines. Sardines are showing up again. If I'm consuming milk products, I actually like things that are been fermented. So I like cheese. I like yogurts, things like that, because they have the good bacteria for your gut. All right. Does anybody know what vitamin K is for? Vitamin K is good for blood clotting. So bruising, for example, if you bruise easy, that'll help out blood clots. However, if you're on heart medication, they tell you to stay off of vitamin K foods. But to let you know what that's for, it's for helping blood clot. Kale's there again, right? So you know why I call it the Kale Institute now on my card, right? Lovely food, right? Scallions are there for top vitamin K foods. We have cabbage, Brussels sprouts. Okay. All right, let's flip it over to the next page. Okay, so that's the end of that, right? So here's the thing about these foods here. If you consume a good portion of these foods, okay, what will happen is all the other vitamins I didn't talk about, because there's more of that, right? Vitamins and minerals. You're going to also get the majority of those throughout the end of the day. Okay, that's a good thing. Now, as I teach nutrition, there are stuff in foods today that nutrition, no matter how well you eat, it's not going to help you, right? So when they talk about products like, they took one out. Do you guys ever hear of Food Babe? You know Food Babe, right? So she recently had, I forget what chain it was, but they took a product out that was that they used in, for example, yoga mats. Okay, they put it in the breads, and so even if you're eating high nutrition and you eat those products with man-made chemicals, you can't overcome those, right? So when you have man-made chemicals, no matter how much you eat, nutrition is not going to fight those. So when I talk about mixing nutrition with your current meals, to make you to compensate, right? I don't mean the ones that have like red, if you had like the red dye 40, that's not a great product to put in your body. It's very harsh on your liver, matter of fact. But that's not something you can't just eat a food to take that away, right? So I just want to make sure you guys take that away. So this is the first time I'm showing this, but this little booklet here is going to be what I've shown you, more of an answer and question for the 4th graders. Okay, we have some characters here, so it kind of gives them some perspective. But these characters will actually change into heroes later on. And so there'll be a comic book behind vegetables and fruits and how they fight, and stay healthy, which is great. And then we give them a certificate like this once they, go into it. So they have something to hold on to, okay? Which you guys will get today, all right? So do we have any questions up to this point here?
What are your feelings on protein bars instead of?
It really depends on the ingredients, and what I've found is every time, there might be 80% of the ingredients in something that are really, are okay with me. But now I'll see something like titanium dioxide. And titanium dioxide it's a white pigment that's in paint. It's stuff that you put on your skin when you want a sunscreen. So when I see that stuff in there, I kind of shy away from it, because if you have that one thing that taints all the good stuff, your liver has to filter that out. Titanium dioxide. Sunscreen has it like the first ingredient, or white paints, or if you see cellulose, cellulose is a fancy word to say wood pulp. So you don't see humans gnawing on trees, right? We don't go and eat trees in real life, so why would we put it in our food, right? So my thing is, if we're naturally as animals not going to go out and eat something like that, it shouldn't be in the food that we eat, because your liver and your kidneys have to fill this, and they do a wonderful job, and you can lose up to 80% of your liver and not notice any problems. But once you step over that threshold, you're going to be right in the hospital. The human body is just an amazing machine. If you give it what it needs, it's going to be, real phenomenal. So very good question there. Let me see, did I get, all right, so as far as the bang for the buck, right? Eating healthy is expensive when you compare it to boxed foods, because if you think about it, everything has sugar in it, high fructose corn syrup, right? And unfortunately, it's subsidized, so it brings the less nutrient foods down in cost. So it makes eating healthy appear expensive. But here's the thing, right? If you kind of, I don't like to put it in this way, but it is like this, right? You can eat healthy now and enjoy your life, or later on at the end you're going to spend it in medical bills. Okay? I'd rather have a great life now and then live up to it. And I spent a lot of money on food, like really, and I don't even think about, like, if that's all they have there and I need to get it, I'm going to buy it. That's my priority, because everything else in my performance, whether it be physical or mental, I can give 100% easily, right? I'm a 44-year-old rock climber, and some of these 20-year-olds can't keep up with me. That's a great feeling. I can do, except for you, right? And then, I can do one-handed push-ups. I'm probably one of the fastest runners, but I push myself because I know I have the nutrition, and I know I can do that, right? So any athletic person or yourselves, if you're feeling like drained, something, you're probably missing one. Your body runs on chemicals and hormones and messages. But if you give it what it needs, it's going to know exactly what to do. It knows exactly when you give it what it needs. All right. And so today, I think that's it, and we'll start making the smoothie. Are we in for that? All right. All right. Great. So are we okay with the ingredients? Just want to check one more time what I'm going to put in here. We're just going to get a little bit. Yes?
So do you have smoothies that's like a meal replacement, or do you?
Okay, so the way, now you can eat your foods differently, but here's how I like to eat. I like to eat, so you have 25 feet of digestive tract, all right? So I like to eat my fast metabolizing foods first thing in the morning, and then my slower stuff at night. Now I know weight loss programs say don't eat at night your heavy meals, right? But here's the thing: if I eat a heavy meal in the morning, and it starts to digest, right? But if I eat a fast digesting food in the afternoon, it's going to crash into it. It's going to create a blockage. Okay, it's going to be uncomfortable. So I eat my faster energy foods in the morning, which is going to be this, easy digestible meal, and it's quick, it's easy. And then I'll eat my heavier meats at the end. So if you look at it this way, if I have a heavy meal at the end of the night, I might eat at 8 o'clock at night. I get to sleep right? So I'm up for a little bit and I get to sleep, and that's still going to digest. By the time the morning comes, I don't got to worry it being in the way, all right? So your digestive tract is one of the most important organs that nobody really addresses, right? But it's a nice, it's long, it has all these, you know, cells around it that absorb your food, okay? So that's the way I look at food, you know, that way. I time everything that way. And it sounds complicated, but once you find your own, you know, system, you practice it. You know, my philosophy, if you do anything 10 times hard, it's easy. Just do it 10 times, right? It becomes a habit. Sound good? All right, awesome. All right, so here we go. We're gonna make one of my breakfast smoothies here. When I finish this, it's gonna be about the size of this, all right? And you can drink it all in the morning, all right? And if it is too much, you can actually, you know, drink half of it and save half a little later. But, you know, to me, it's one meal, okay? So we'll start off here. I'm gonna add, what's that?
Is that your breakfast? Do you make the whole thing like that? Is that your breakfast?
You have it for your breakfast.
Yes, yep, that's it, yep. So I'm gonna add some orange juice here. So probably about, it's about a quarter, half a cup, okay, of orange juice. Then we're gonna add some volcanic water. So JP set up some really good water for you folks here. I think this is the high-end water. Volcanic water has actually really good minerals to it because it's filtered down through the rocks. Okay. Now the portion of these, let me get my gloves here. So most of the stuff here is pretty easy because it's like a tablespoon of everything. So I made it very easy. And calculating it, it all comes out to the vitamins that I would like you to get out of the smoothie. So how nice is that, right? Down the line, I've been working on a more of a powdered type of thing to give out to folks, so they don't have to think about it. You know, they can just add it to their vegetables and stuff like that. That's later on. All right, so then I'm going to take, let's put in, so goji berries, here we go, antioxidants. So this is about just a teaspoon here. Now I like to put the dry goods in because what happens, they soak with the liquid, right? We're going to pretend I have a tablespoon with me. And this is the Dulce flakes. It's just like a pinch, right? That's all you really need. That'll give you 100% iodine for the day. And then we have nutritional yeasts. This actually, even though we talked about just B12, it actually has a lot of other B12 vitamins in it. All right. Usually when I make this, I just open up the top and just, you know, spill it into it. Because I'm, you know, busy, we're fast, right? Fast foods. Okay, so those are all those are there. Chia seeds here. So chia seeds are high in omega-3 fatty acids. And it's a great source of clean fiber. What's kind of cool at chia seeds, if you have a favorite juice or a drink, if you put them in there and let it sit overnight, it turns into like a bubble. Like they have these little bubble. If you ever had bubble tea, it's a pretty cool drink. Huh? Yeah, yes, right. It has these little jelly-like type spheres in it. It's pretty cool. I like to use sprouted sunflower seeds. They're better because seeds, when they're sprouted, they offer more nutrition. Okay.
They're expensive. The sprouted versions.
Yeah, when you compare them, they're going to be more expensive. You're right. And then after you eat them and go on through your day, after a week you'll notice a difference. I do a lot of stuff and I try it out to see if I really feel, and I measure it by my performance. All right, sorry about that. Here we go. Then we're going to put some antioxidants, some blueberries. I like to use all organic. Now, you're going to be faster when you do it because you're going to already have stuff open. Well, the thing is that fruits and vegetables absorb things in the grounds. So if you have some type of chemical like Monsanto's product, it can get absorbed into the plant. Yeah, definitely as much as you can organic. I mean, they say organic doesn't necessarily mean it's organic. You might read that, but to me, I do everything I can to get the closest to the best food I can. So usually I try to put a cup of kale in here. I'm only going to put maybe half a cup in here. And what happens, you work your way up. Right? You work your way up with half, and then you start to use a whole cup. Okay, I'll put a little more juice in here. All right. So once you have it all set up at home, it goes pretty quick. So I'm going to blend this until I can't see any more of the particles. I love the who has a NutriBullet here? Now the difference between a NutriBullet and a regular blender is that the pieces are going to be smaller. And it's important for absorption. So as this goes into your body, the particles are actually kind of round if you want to look at it that way. So it's easier for it to go down your digestive tract. When you use a blender, the particles are more like pieces of like a leaf, like my hands, a lot of leaflets, and it's going to create some blockage. Not bad blockage, but you're going to get more nutritional value out of high-speed, NutriBullet. All right, who would like to try this? All right, so let's get this out. Let me get. I'm just going to pour it. Yeah. Oh, thanks. This is probably the most nutritional drink you've ever had. Now, what you can do is the ingredients that I have, you can change it up. You can add more of something, The goal is to get a whole, cup. A cup of kale in it. Who else? Anybody else need any more? Okay. And I won't be offended if you don't like it, because, there's a lot of stuff in there, and everybody has different food, tastes. All right, everybody, to life. Did you get one? Okay, so to life, right? All right. Oh yeah.
See you at 103.
Whew. Well, I tell everybody this. I tell everybody when I'm 100 years old, whoever wants to join me at Walt Disney World, I'm going to be on the craziest ride, whatever that is, right? Because we don't know what it's going to be. What's that?
Our grandmother lives at 100.
Wow, that's awesome.
Like 8. It's so funny. She
Chia ate a lot of kale, right?
Take your cheese.
Right. Well, a lot has to do with also, not only, but stress in our country. Cortisol is very high. You know, we do a lot of stressful things until the afternoon. We don't take a walk or anything. We stay in our cubicles, and so that cortisol stays there, right? And then we continue until at the end of the day. So if you're able to get outside and take a quick walk or something like that, it helps, press that down, and it's healthier for you. But like I said, these ingredients here, you can add more banana if you want, less of the kale, more of the blueberries, but you're gonna change them up a little bit till you can get, the goal is to get a full cup of kale in it, so it's one meal you don't have to think about. And I promise you, the more you consume it, the more you crave it, okay? So the thing is, you can't have a chocolate cake and this near it. It's never gonna win, all right? So you have to do some sugar cleansing, meaning that you have to stop eating the high sugars, because your brain is going to, whatever you have out there, your brain's very smart. It's going to say, I want to have the most amount of calories for one serving. So whenever you eat a candy bar, you eat the ice cream, or whatever high carbohydrate foods, or chips and stuff, right? It changes your threshold. So let's say it normally thinks this is sweet or salty, right? It actually pushes that threshold out. Now you have to eat something like that. So the more you eat that, the more it pushes that threshold. And you'll never go back to this, right? The only way to correct it is to stay away from it for like 7 to 10 days, and then this will become more appealing to you. Now, it's okay to go back to the salt and sugar stuff, but if you keep ramping up on that and hitting it, you create yourself mentally you can't do it. And that's the trick actually to get away from carbohydrate foods is to don't eat them for a while, for like 7 to 10 days, because you have to detox, right? And then come back to it, right? So now you have information where you can take these foods and apply them to whatever you decide to eat, And I'm actually working on, just so you know, a vegan version of this. I actually have the artist who did the booklets. She's actually becoming a vegan, so it's perfect timing, So we'll be in touch. If anybody would like some more smoothies here, if not, I'm going to start handing out the goodie bags. All right. Now, before I hand them out, let me tell you what's in them. And these products, if you ask the store folks, if you come to Whole Foods, they'll know exactly what it is. But let me bring one over here. So what we have in here, so we have nutritional yeast. I wish they would change the name of that, because it's just a tough thing. It's just nutritional yeast. It doesn't even sound appealing, right? So I'm gonna work on a name next time, and we're gonna change it to something. But this is very good for your B vitamins, okay? Well, maybe together as the class 101, the first class, we can think of things together as a group, and we'll call it something else, right? What?
A lot of people call it Nooch.
Newt.
N-O-O-C-H.
Nooch. Oh, okay, Nooch. I can go with that. We'll call it Nooch. All right, we have organic chia seeds. All right, so that's going to be when you use a little bit, you get your omega-3 fatty acids, right? And then you have this, the dulse flakes. So very good in soups. I would say experiment, right? And whatever you come up with, let me know, okay? And we can talk about them in the future, because nutrition's always evolving. The books I have here and stuff will change. Medical will run to nutrition. There are a lot of things I talk about doctors don't understand yet, but I do help. For example, I've cured diabetics where they've had high sugar, and I showed them how to eat, and their level of sugar is down enough where the doctors actually say they're not diabetic anymore. So that's the power of nutrition and knowing what you eat to that level. All right, so let's start getting your goodie bags, and thank you guys for coming.